Please welcome Myles Munroe Jr. and Chaz Hammonds to the stage.
So, like I said, this is more of a conversational piece, Chaz. I wanted to. The reason why I particularly chose Chaz to speak was because I learned of Chaz's story. I knew, well, obviously I know Chaz through his mother, but his mother was a good friend of my parents. And traveling up to Houston, where they live, I got to know Chaz and his sister, and came across, got to know, what Chaz was working on and working on SoulFit Grill. And it just amazed me that, I think he's a bit humble in saying how successful the SoulFit Grill is. Like it's really, it inspires me, just because I know and I understand like where it came from. Like it came from his, him, like he said, him growing up with his grandmother and seeing the pills and medication that she had to take and wanting to do something about it. And I guess, I wanted you to kind of speak on, first of all, my first question would be, I know that you said that the passion came from, you seeing your grandmother and what she had to do. But where did it start with you? Like when did you realize that? Because you said that you wanted to be a judge ultimately, and you wanted to help people. But when did all the stars align for you? And like at what age and what stage? And was it like something that was instant, or did it take a while for you to actually understand that SoulFit Grill was the answer?
Well, SoulFit Grill is just, I guess, one of my answers. But I think it started for me when I was probably. Well, I'll tell you this. I was always big into agriculture. So I rode horses. I'm from Texas. Everybody in Texas doesn't ride horses, but I do like to ride horses as well. They think we wear cowboy hats all the time, but I'm into. I was into agriculture and horses, and I always knew that I wanted to be an agriculturalist or an entrepreneur. I didn't really know how I was going to put those two together. And so, I kind of just followed this plan. I thought, going to college, I was going to be this, NFL player, and I realized that I didn't.
Me
really,
too. Yeah.
I didn't get taller. I didn't get taller and I didn't get bigger. But so it went, and I just started doing what I love to do, and following this path. And I'm still kind of on this journey. And for the law school stuff, I applied to law school. I got into law school. I was actually in law school while SoulFit Grill was doing, well, and I'm actually on a break right now from, law school, and I do plan on going back. It just, I'm just trying to, balance, both. And it's kind of like right now I'm in this phase where you have a company that's, really on the rise, and you have your dream of always being a lawyer. And, for me, I'm kind of like a safety person, a safe person. I want to have a backup. So, the law school for me is like a kind of like a backup because, some things just may not be guaranteed, but at least I'll have that, that backup of having that law degree.
Right, and I know that, I tell people all the time, because you mentioned in your presentation how you use the relationships and networks that you built in college to get, the stuff done for SoulFit Grill. Like you levied your friendships, you had friends that did graphic work and all of these other things, and I think that's important because a lot of kids just think or look at college as, you get a diploma or you get a degree and you go home. But that's really the place that you establish relationships that last a lifetime. Like some of my best relationships that I have today, I established in college. So yeah, college really isn't the end-all be-all, but it's still a good opportunity. Aside from getting the education, establishing relationships. So let's talk about those relationships that you were able to establish, and I assume that you didn't have to pay much, if anything, for those things, so it saved you a lot of money?
Yeah, it saved me a lot of money. I'm glad that they were just starting up just like I was. Now, a couple of years, we all been in business for a couple of years. So when I first started, I guess that was in 2015, and I was brainstorming, 2014, and, my friend, I saw him. He probably won't give me the credit for it so much, but I saw him putting up these flyers and just putting up quotes. And I say, hey man, I think you can actually make me a logo. I say, he didn't make logos then. He was just putting up quotes with different words on it and making cool graphics on it. And I say, man, I think you can make him a logo. And a couple of weeks later, he said, man, I got a surprise for you. And he actually made me a logo, and it was actually like his first logo design. And I just kind of used those relationships that I had to actually help build a business. A lot of my friends, they were my good friends, so it wasn't like I was using them or they were using me. We actually basically was using each other to actually build ourselves up. And so when somebody asked me, well, man, your logo looks cool. Back I only had a logo in the beginning. He was like, oh, the logo looks cool. Who did it? And I would say, hey, my friend did this. And I would give all those, the business and people call from California, who did this logo? Hey, he did it. And then he started getting, jobs and stuff, from people from all over the country just because they would see my logo and they would see my designs, for my company, and business came to him. And the next thing he did logos, and he said, well, I don't really want to do logos, I want to do websites. And then I was like, well, I need a website too. So and I was like one of his first real website people, website design people. I mean, I kind of used my relationships. He didn't really do websites, but I think he had made himself one just for something. I was like, well, man, I got a business I'm trying to get out there, and I said, well, can you do it? We can. I didn't know what to do. I said, well, can we do it? So we kind of went around, and basically he had never did a business and especially a product website. So we both did research, and we went to look at different people's stuff, and we didn't steal ideas. We just kind of like got inspiration to see how the picture's supposed to look. Without learning, sometimes you can have the best websites, are really with the best quality pictures, and it makes the website really pop out. So we would just go and look and see which one we can use. And then when I needed a photographer, one of my friends was just, he was an engineer. And, he just so happened that, he took good photos. And now I can't probably afford him. He's like, he does some of the biggest weddings from, all the celebrities from LA. They fly him all over the world. So now, I have to, pay for stuff like that because I respect his craft and I respect his business. But, back then he was in the beginning stage. He was like, you're helping me build my portfolio. Now when people come see my stuff, they're going to see, me actually, doing a spice. Like, I wish I had a picture I can show you guys. He has a picture of my spices, and it's just like falling in the air, and it's like everybody can't shoot that picture. The quality of that picture is like, you can see the spices just kind of like just dripping down in the quality, and it's like he said that made his portfolio. A lot of people actually want to work with him just because he had that picture that actually stood out. So I use those relationships. College, I wasn't, always the A or B student. Sometimes I was a C student. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really know. I was a first generation. I didn't really know what to do in college. I was just there. It's kind of like my mom was like, you need to go to college. You need to go. And I really didn't know because nobody in my family, went to college. So I just kind of like got there and was like, what do you do? I just really didn't know about engineering. I didn't really know. So I always knew that business was something I wanted to do, but I really didn't know exactly what I was supposed to do in college. But luckily, I always used the relationships. I always networked with people. I always went to events. I always made good connections. Never made any enemies. And I was able to use those relationships. So when I have my company now, everybody's willing to support. I got, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with like different fraternities and stuff. Back in college, that's kind of like a beef type thing. And now you graduate, those guys from different fraternities have bought more of my SoulFit Grills than the ones in my own fraternity. So it's like those, it's like but I build good relationships with those people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an important point because he's using. My dad always tell me if I'm the smartest person in my circle, I need to find a new circle. And he has a circle where he does what he does. Everyone else has something that they can bring to to the friendship or to the circle that provides and it elevates everyone. The photographer started as an engineer, got into photography, did some photography for Chaz, and now he's traveling around the world taking photos. But he's an engineer. And Chaz wanted to be a lawyer, but he does seasoning. So
I'm not sure how happy our parents were about
that's
that.
how it works, man. Yeah. That's how it works, and I think that's unique. Now, you started with seasoning, right? And I think this goes to my point where I said to never stop learning, because you don't want to become complacent or become stagnant in your journey. You started with seasoning, and now you got a grill that you create now. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, the grill, that was all a part of my study abroad, which was a part of college. I went there. I'll tell you guys just a quick. I didn't know. I applied for the study abroad trip just because I didn't want to spend another year at my college. I feel like I had kind of outgrown being there, for a while. I was there long enough. I had transferred, so I had to spend an extra year. So I was like, why not do this study abroad? And it's gonna, help me, market myself to companies that I want to work for. And I went over there to Asia and I started learning about these different types of grills and things. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. The food tastes really good. But I started the spice company after I came back. I didn't really think about it too much. And then it was when I started, looking I was grilling all the time on social media, and I was like, man, I need to be sponsored by somebody. At least, they can, help me out with grilling, and I can advertise their products for free. All I want to do is, help them out and help me. But, like I said, nobody responded back again. So I was like, I can develop a product like this, and I can use it, and I can help people learn how to grill, learn how to eat healthy, and use this grill and connect with people like that.
So if you follow Chaz on social media, he shows off a bit with his grilling. I watched one of the things he posted, and he was on a boat and was told that there was a grill on the boat, but it wasn't a grill; it was actually a hot plate. And he made it work, man. And it just, it's just a way to connect to your audience and really sell your product. And I think Chaz does a great job of using his platform to do that.
I use social media a lot.
Yeah.
Social media, I honestly don't know how I could do business without having social media.
It's the world we live in.
It's the way that the world is shrunken so much. I can connect with people from different places. I can see what Charo is doing, or hear, on my phone. I don't have to be in the Bahamas to actually see this. I can see, just with everybody. I can connect with people. Some of the biggest, celebrities have used my products and reached out, and the biggest trainers have wanted to use it. And that's all because they've been able to see what I'm doing on social media, and they can see that I'm putting out quality things, and I'm putting out quality products that people are, starting to respect. It just pretty much shrunk the whole world for me. It made it easier to connect and grow my business.
I really like Chaz's story, and again, because I just, when you see something and you understand why it started, and then you see the way it takes off, and then how it evolves into all of these different businesses, and I really see Chaz not even being a lawyer anymore. I know he still
Don't tell my mom that she's in the back.
I know he still aspires to be, and I don't want to, throw stones at that dream, but just to see when you follow your passion, doors open for you that you don't even expect. And you said something in your presentation that you didn't have any experience in this.
Didn't.
You just knew the right people. And those, you build networks to carry you places. So you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. Just know smart people.
Right. That's
basically.
definitely true.
And so the last question I have is, you were trying to get your product into stores, and you consistently either you wasn't getting a response, or you were being told no. How was that process? Because I know for me, it's difficult for me to even be persistent. The patience, persistence, and perseverance part of the journey to success is the most difficult, because that's where it takes sometimes it takes 4 weeks, 4 months, 4 years, 40 years for you to knock or get into a door that you were knocking on for a long time. And it's all about persistence and, really just keep continuing to push through all the negativity, all the no's and whatnot. So just, speak on that aspect of your journey with being told no but not taking no for an answer.
I think that's something I've always been told, but I never really listened to it. It was like growing up, I was never just an A student. But I knew how to, make it, I always knew how to get myself around the people who actually, were about doing something, so I knew how to take, what I was given and make it something better. So, when they told me no, I was like, you can tell me no, but I'm going to keep trying. And you can't convince me this is not going to be the newest thing that's in the industry for, fitness and health. And spices have been around, but, it was a new thing for the supplement stores and the the nutrition stores. You guys may have a GNC or something like that, health food store that sell the products and the protein and the shakers. And they was like, I don't know. I don't see why they could just go to the grocery store when they buying the chicken. But I say, well, it makes sense because they're here, they're looking for this, and it's kind of hard to find a product like this because they're telling me that we can't find it. I'm going to these fitness shows and I'm selling out a product, and I don't understand why you don't want it. And it's to this day, now they're forced to put in something they didn't want to. But it's like you're dealing with people who have a small mind, they don't see the big picture.
Break the rules. You see that? They were putting a limitation on him. Why would we put seasoning in a nutritional store?
It is unique, but
I mean it's true though, because it's like, hey, I know that this can work because I see it happening when I travel to these different events. So I'm trying to do you a favor, and
they
now,
didn't understand that at first. And
they never do, man.
But now they're like, one of them told me, he said, well, if you build a good enough demand, maybe, or people come in and asking for it, we'll give you the chance to put it in there, So, they were like, they're doing me a favor, and I'm like, really, we're doing each other a favor, as well as I'll bring people to your store, because I would actually, lose money by putting it into retail stores. But my goal wasn't always just to make a lot of money. I would love to make money, but I want to reach people, and I want to help more people. So I knew if I had it in retail stores that it could actually reach more people, because it's certain people who may not know about my website, certain people who may not know about SoulFit Grill on Instagram. And so they can go to the regular, nutrition store and see it inside of there and be like, hey, what's this? And they smell it, they open up and they taste it, and they're like, okay, this is something that I'm interested in buying. They try it and buy it. And that way I reach more people by, putting it out in different, platforms and different avenues.
Mm-hmm. So what's next for SoulFit Grill? Where do you see you guys in the next, say, 12, 24 months?
I see us taking over everything we can do in the health industry, so pretty much, it starts with, one bottle, but, we have I have pretty much 2017 is like pretty much already done for me right now, so we have pretty much a lot of things coming up. I can't say everything, but I have a lot of things coming up, and I say we because, really, I really wouldn't be here without my mom and my sister, pretty much. My mom and my sister are the reason why, I'm able to kind of do it. You graduate college and you're applying for school and law school, you don't really have a job. So, it's no way I could really do all this without having, my mom, my sister behind me. And luckily when I was in, applying for school, I was able to go sit in her office and get, just business advice. I would hear her talk on the phone to all these different people and see how she interacted with people. And I was able to, I realized that people are paying for this and I get to kind of get it for free. But it was, we don't always agree. It's some, your parents, they want to tell you to do everything. But I realize it's valuable things in it. And, some things you got to deal with. And, a lot of things that people are running up to her to go get the advice. And I kind of have it for free. And so, we kind of started this thing. Our newest project was with me, my mom, my sister, called the First Family of Business. And, with our family, we have over 20 different companies, throughout, running from healthcare to fashion to, schools, the garden projects to the products. So we started the First Family of Business, and that's kind of where we're putting our passion into right now, helping everybody in every industry. And with SoulFit Grill, the next thing is the grills, and the grills are, are moving pretty well all over, the Houston area as well as, the United States, and getting out there and, we're marketing the grills and, with the spices as well, so people can learn how to grill and, also have something cool in their backyard.
Yeah. So I just want to put this out there. If you're looking for investors, you can just let me know, and I will, hey.
I'm glad you believe in me. Sometimes sometimes I'm kind of impressed sometimes, like, that people just like believe in it. Somebody says, oh, I want to invest in the company. And I say, man, you got it. I'm like, man, this is something I started like just out of my head.
Yeah,
I can't believe that the name, sometimes I can't believe that people actually want to, I'll tell you guys, like I had a hat at this fitness expo, and, I had my logo in the hats, and usually just for me. And, I was at the expo, and the guy would say, hey, are you selling these hats? And I was like, not really, it's just kind of here for decorations. And he said, I want one. And I was like, it just had my logo on it. It had the SoulFit Grill on it. It's just my company. And I couldn't believe that somebody wants to buy, a product that, not even, I'm not Nike, I'm not, a Jordan. So I couldn't believe that somebody wanted to wear this like it was like a Nike or Jordan. So best believe after that, I went and bought hats and got in like main factory. And now I sell hats, and now I sell T-shirts, and now I sell aprons. And, so I was like, people want to buy the thing, but I couldn't believe that
If they
when
won't
you're not
buy it, you sell it. I agree.
when you're not a Nike, it's kind of hard to, because I still wear Nike, I still wear, Jordans or something like that sometimes. I couldn't believe that somebody wanted to put on something that I had a part in making. And to me, that's just, still, it just throws me off sometimes that people want to support me like that and want to invest as well.
Yeah, I think, just to that point, I don't think people are investing in the product per se. I think they're investing in you because, there's a passion that comes out of what you do and people recognize that. And that's one of the reasons why your story was so unique to me, because your passion was, like, it wasn't forced. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't something that you had to struggle with or pull out of you. And I think that's what attracted me to you, so I could only pause. But I can only understand that that's what attracts others to you, like, and people wanting to invest into your company or whatever, like me. So, if that opportunity, if that opportunity comes up for me to invest in your company, you could let me know. All right.
I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to open up the floor for some questions. We have about 10 minutes. So if anyone wants to ask a question, there's a mic on either side of the stage. You can just walk on up. Now, please, don't be shy. Don't be nervous. We won't bite. We'll try to answer your question as nice as possible. Anybody? Okay, here we go. Mike.
Check. There we go. Hey, everybody.
Say your name, where you from?
My name is Josh, Pastor Josh from California. I'm with my people right here. So I have a question for you, Chaz. And I know you talked about using the people, the relationships in your life. So I just kind of want you to establish how that works, because we have people, where's Peter? Yeah, we have Peter, he does graphics. We have Dennis, he's a DJ right there. He has to stand up. We have Simon, he takes pictures. But the thing is, if you want them to help you, so how does that work out? So that, do you have like a business agreement, or do you just do it from a friendship point of view?
Nope, get it in right.
So,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
just clarify on that, please? Thank you.
Now, like he did say, lowly, get it in writing. But luckily with those friends, we were just starting, so they didn't feel like I was using them at all, and I didn't feel like I was, we were basically building off of each other, and it's kind of like now I would, we'll do now. We all have real companies, and we're all licensed companies, and so I would, now I would definitely, I'll probably get in writing,
Contracts,
yeah, some contracts, just because I don't want them to. I think once you reach a certain point, and one company may be doing 100,000 and one may be doing 40, and they both put in the same amount of work. So I want them to give me the best price that they can afford, and without me trying to get the rip them off in a way. So I think you just gotta kind of get into writing, and use who you have around you in a way. It's kind of hard. You can answer that one as well.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I always, regardless of friendships, I got a few friends in the room now that I do work with, and we get everything in writing. Because you'd be surprised how, you start off as friends, you start off with a mindset as, we're going to be in this together, and then either someone or an individual kind of takes off, or the money starts coming in, and then it's like, I think I need to get more of this because I put in this
that
amount
definitely
of work.
happens.
So I think once you start out with an understanding, regardless of what happens, here's how we're going to do things, I think that makes it easier. Okay. Any more questions? Take your time, no problem.
It's Ralph Clare. My name is Ralph Clare from the Bahamas. And I had two questions. The first of which is, you talked a little bit about your study abroad. Can you kind of expand on what it did for your mindset? So in undergrad, you did 3 years, I guess, I presume, and then decided to go overseas. What did that essentially do for like disrupting your thought process about life? That's the first question. And then the second question is, how did you prepare your mind, or was there a process that you went through when you got started in an industry that you had no experience in? And what steps did you have to actually take? And did you feel as though not having expertise in that industry actually made you more effective and more aggressive because you didn't know about all the rules and limitations? Like, how did you begin that thought process to get going?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, the study abroad definitely changed my mindset. I came back, I was different. I realized that some of the things that I thought in, the U.S. that I was so passionate about, those people didn't even know about. It was like, the things that I were doing with my friends that they didn't even know. So it's kind of like, I kind of just prioritized things a lot different. And I was like, I went over there, I was over there for almost 6 months. And I was like, these people are living and going on, and they don't care about some of the things that, like the parties and stuff, they were completely different. It opened my mind up. And I was able to interact with people that were from different areas and different, cultures. And we were all kind of bouncing ideas off each other. And I was able to see how, some of the Caucasian people, I can't bounce it off, just say one, but how they deal with things. And I was able to see how, a woman, who was Caucasian deal with these on a daily basis, because we were with each other pretty much every day. And I was just able to see, how people live different. And, I grew up in this family, we're a pretty close family, and I just thought everybody was kind of like us. And I realized that, it kind of opened my mind up, because I realized you can't trust everybody, but, it is people you can't trust. And, you grew up in a close-knit family, you kind of grew up in this safe haven where people are always caring for them. You go to these events, and all the speakers are pretty much your mom's friends, and, they're looking out for you. And I got over there, it's like nobody knew who I was. I was just this person there, and, just trying to make it. But I was able to it opened my mindset about my health, my food. I actually almost went vegetarian for a while. It came back because I just felt like I was eating so much, just meat and stuff over there. But it opened my mind up. I would tell, if you have the opportunity to do it while you're in college, do it, because it's just, you can experience different things. I met people from New Zealand. I met new people from Australia. They were all over there doing study abroad. So I had the opportunity to teach a class. And it's kind of funny, I'm on the stage, but I'm not really like a big talker. But, it's just like, it kind of just opened me out of my shell so much. And the next
Second question was, being in an industry that you don't have any experience in, how was that process for you?
I think the process for me was different but it wasn't. It was kind of like I was making my own rules pretty much, because the industry was, like I said, was pretty much heavily salted. The low salt thing was pretty much new. Before then, people were either just eating like cayenne or black pepper. So it's kind of like I got to kind of make up my own rules of how I want to do things. I kind of was able to, nobody couldn't really tell me. I had a mentor, who kind of not really got at me, but he kind of told me, but in my own mind, I knew in myself that, that wasn't the way I wanted to do it. I kind of knew what direction I wanted to go into. I had a mentor that somebody kind of like, kind of helped me, in the industry a little bit, but I pretty much went on Google, and I researched different ways that, what replaces salt, what is high in salt, what is low in salt, what percentage will make me, become, just a regular salty seasoning, and what percentage will, make me a low seasoning.
There's a picture on the screen with T-Mac with the grill.
That's Tracy McGrady.
Yep, Tracy McGrady.
T-Mac, I call him T-Mac too. That's the basketball player for the Houston Rockets, where he played for so many different teams. And that's the grill. That's actually the SoulFit Grill, Legend Grill.
Dope, man.
But I didn't have those walls that the people can put me in. So when it's kind of like I was, starting something new in the industry, and you only had a few different spices that was out there, and they did their own thing. But I knew they didn't really cater to people of different cultures and colors, and I wanted to be able to relate to everybody. And they kind of went inside their box. They made, the Italian seasoning. They made, a little garlic seasoning. But I was like, what about the soul flavor? So I wanted to make something different, and I was able to do that because I didn't have anybody saying, oh, this is exactly what you need to do if you want to make it. I really wasn't concerned about making it. I was just really concerned about trying to help people. And, if I did make it, that would be great. But if I, didn't make it, I wouldn't be mad at myself either, because I was trying something to help somebody. So it wasn't really about the money. You know, it was just about following the passion.
Right.
And I'm still on this journey. I'm still working. I'm still trying to get into more stores. And I haven't, you know, I'm telling the story as I'm still living it. And so it's not like I'm, you know, up here and say I reached a plateau where I'm not growing. I'm not growing anymore. I'm still growing with the spice company. I'm still growing with the grill company. And the spices I hope to see, you know, even over here in different stores and all over. And, you know, I'm making one for each, you know, culture. You know, then probably the next one come out will probably be something, you know, in Chengdu, China, you know, where I live, when I taste the different spices over there. So not being in the box and not having anybody tell me exactly, you got to do it like this, because I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I went off of Google, I researched, and you know, I talked to some nutritionists and stuff. It allowed me to think more free. I would say that.
Yeah, man. So, look, anything you want to do, don't limit yourself. You don't have to be the smartest person or know everything about what you're doing. Google help Chaz. Google can help you.
Google definitely helped me. You know, I taught a lot of stuff. You know, I taught myself a lot of things just by being on Google and, you know, researching it. You know, just meeting the right people.
Yeah, yeah. This is Mama SoulFit Grill.
First of all, let me say I'm just very proud of both of you. And I have a question that is really for both of you. How do you deal with the pressure of knowing when to attach and detach from your last name? Your parents, we have this conversation all the time. So it's a time, you know, but how do you deal with that? Because both of you.
It is impossible for me to detach myself. Impossible for me too. So I just don't anymore. For me, it's just, you know, I understand what it is. I understand that, you know, my parents were who they were, and they left such a great legacy that it carries on, you know, with my sister and I. So for me, it's just a responsibility now. It's a responsibility now of me just, you know, continuing on with the name, trying to live up, or trying to create my version of the name, because I know my kids are going to have the same pressures and stuff. So I think for me, I look at it more as just a responsibility, and everything that I do, I want to do it my way. I don't want to do it the way my parents did it. I don't want someone to put a pressure on me because they would say, oh, your parents would have done it like this. I get that a lot. But, you know, like I said, I want to be comfortable with me. I am comfortable with me doing the stuff that I do and the way that I do it. And, you know, my name is my name. I'm Myles Munroe. Okay, I can't run from that. I've been running from that for half of my life, to be honest. But just, I've accepted it now.
I think when you grow up with parents who have, you know, who are successful in what they do in the industry, you know, you kind of, as a child, you kind of want to run away from it because you want to make your own path. But, you know, and people are always expecting you to be, you know, so good. You got to be, you know, this talker. And I was never a talker. My mom was on stage, and I enjoy doing it now because it's helping people. But for me, I just used to like, you know, being in my circle and not really being, you know, out so much. But, you know, it's like that pressure comes. You feel the pressure. Nobody's saying it, but, you know, everybody's looking at you. You know, you can't go out and party like the rest of your friends in college because everybody, oh, that's, you know, so-and-so son. You know, it could be in this paper. Or they going like, oh, your son out there doing this. How you telling people to, you know, live this certain lifestyle, and he's out here wild at parties. You know, so you feel the pressure. But and for a while, I, you know, ran away from it just because I want to create my own name. I still have people telling me right now, like, oh, you need to be doing, you know, healthcare. That's what your mom doing. You know, you need to be doing that. And I'm like, you know, but what are you doing right now? You're doing what you wanted to do. So I try to follow what my dreams are, and I hope that it leads to the money as well. You know, that way I can support the life that I like to live.
That helps.
But now I embrace it more because I realize, like, you know, the relationships that I built. And, you know, the name carries so much that, you know, now I'm able to do things. And, you know, some things are where people have to work 4 or 5 years to get to. I'm a phone call away just because of my name. Mm-hmm. And the name carries so much weight. And the name, you know, it helps you get to doors. And, you know, sometimes it's not what you know, it's, you know, who you know.
Who you know, definitely. And
those relationships, you know, that's a famous quote that said, life travels in the speed of relationships. And I truly believe that because, you know, my life has been traveling just through phone calls. You know, when I needed, when I released the grills, it was a phone call from, you know, one of my godfathers, you know, hey, I got this grill. He said, oh, we want to let's run an article on it in the magazine. And he ran that article, and next thing you know, because he owned it, and then next thing you know, other magazines picked that article up, you know, thinking I was this hot thing, you know, which I was. But he kind of started the buzz, you know. He started the buzz just because off a relationship that he knew, and he owned the magazine. He was able to, you know, convince the other people that this is the thing that people are going to be into. So now I'm not running. I'm kind of embracing it, but it's still an everyday thing because people want you to do the way you want it to be done, and you kind of just want to go in your own path and do it. But luckily, she's not in the spice industry, so I kind of get to make my own way.